of hands-on volunteering experience. He has led national and city teams at Blood Connect and Make a Difference, driving social impact. As the founder of WeDoGood, he is dedicated to solving global challenges through volunteering. Beyond work, he likes sports, adventure, and board games. You will find him regularly participating in treks, triathlons, and endurance events in running and cycling. Along with him is presenting Moumita. She currently leads WeDoGood. Apart from that, she brings 1.5 years of management consulting experience in the education and sustainability space. She's worked with schools, universities, and businesses, helping them assess the quality of education, research, and design interventions, secure clients, and create market strategies. She's also a University of Delhi graduate, where she led an impact club under the United Nations Foundations and worked towards women's health. Outside of work, she's big on consuming all sorts of content, and most mornings you'll find her in a yoga studio. Thank you so much, Shubham and Moumita. Over to you.
Thanks, Neha. Thanks for the warm introduction, and for all of you folks joining, thanks for coming in. We will start with AI and the future of skilled volunteering. How do we make it more bigger, more smarter, and definitely more personal? We both are introverts, like highly introverted, so we're going to make this session as engaging as possible. But first things first, let's introduce WeDoGood. We say that we are redefining how people volunteer. We're a skill volunteering platform, and we work with under-resourced organizations. When I say under-resourced organizations, I mean nonprofits and social enterprises, and we help them figure out their operational challenges by connecting them with skilled professionals from corporates, from startups, to figure out those challenges and solve them and help them grow. So far, it's been just 2 years since we started, but we've achieved, in terms of numbers, 500 plus engagements, 800 plus volunteers, 100K volunteer hours, and we really love to say that we have 95% project completion rate. And apart from that, our volunteers give us a score of 4.7 out of a 5 of an NPS score. And we work with some corporate clients, like Microsoft, for instance. We're managing their 2 volunteering programs. So yeah, that's pretty much about us. I'm going to now pass this beacon on to Shubham to take this forward. Yeah. Take the mic.
Okay, so it's on? No worries. Okay, that's okay, right? Like, so first of all, context, like, why are we even here, right? And I'm not talking about this session, I'm talking about VolCon in general, right? Like, so Venkat spoke about that, okay, there could be a lot of different reasons for all of us to be here, right? Like, it could be networking, it could be meeting corporate partners, it could be like finding some other learnings, whatever it is, right? But as a whole collective, we are all about that, how can we grow volunteering in general, right? Like, so this session is going to be all about that. What are some challenges that we are seeing in volunteering, and especially skilled volunteering, and what are some of the ideas that we have in terms of on how we can grow it over there, okay? So these are few of the terms that we want, that we are going to use, and we really want that people understand. So I'm just going to redefine, like take half a minute and let's redefine what it is. So when we say skilled volunteering, so it means a longer short-term skilled volunteering event. It can include skilled mentoring. What skilled volunteering includes is that, like, here you help any beneficiary using your skill set, which you are already good at. The beneficiary can be not-for-profits, the beneficiary can be social enterprises, and can even be other businesses, can be people, can be youth, like whom you are thinking of mentoring and all that, right? Like, so skilled volunteering in general can be for any beneficiaries. Yeah. We generally work with not-for-profit and social enterprises, but that term can be leveraged across other areas as well. Then we have event-based volunteering, right? Like, so this is more of like beach cleanups, tree planting, wish trees, some say under the sun or whatever, like, but more of like one-time event-based thing, like where you are doing certain things. And then there is a regular mentoring or teaching, right? So I use the word mentoring again because if it is a long-term mentoring where you are just trying to be a big brother, that doesn't come under skilled mentoring altogether. And then there could be teaching like what you and I mentor together make a difference in these organizations too, right? So these are the three terms that might come in between. Just wanted to set up the context. So my very first question is like, how does anything scale, right? Like, so anything in this whole world, like everything scales. Like if you see, for example, the use of Instagram, it was very slow at start and then grew up massively, right? If you see ChatGPT, people have spoken about that it started growing like crazy itself. However, if you think of some other things like internet, any adoption of phone, it might have a slow curve and slowly it started growing altogether itself, right? So there's a theory which has been coined somewhere in 1960s. It's a theory that talks about that how does anything scale over a journey, right? The theory is called diffusion of innovation. It was developed by some Evan guy, Evan L. Adams, the name of the guy, and he was actually a communication specialist and understands business quite well, right? So how does he coin is that anything, any idea, any concept, any service, any product, anything at all goes through this whole cycle of adoption itself, right? Now the first cycle, first line that you see, the small bar, is called innovators, right? Now these innovators are the people who might be willing to take the leap or want to take that idea, that service or product, even though things might not work, right? So for example, I'm a big techie, I love tech products. There's this Meta Ray-Ban glasses which Meta came up with, which has camera and microphone and all that stuff, right? When this came up, I was somewhere outside, I got this on day 2, right? I didn't know whether how I'll use, what will work and all that. If something is in budget and all that, I am probably in that innovator route. And I still use it very less. I think it has been little bit waste of money, but good like learning experience or experience, whatever, right? The second which comes is what is called as early adopters. So early adopters are those who actually see innovators and see that, okay, that product is working and then take that leap, right? Like, so they are also people who like new stuff, but they are little less risky, risk worthy in that sense, right? Like, so they take over that leap little later altogether. And just for fact, for different products and services, we might be somewhere different in this range. Like for example, adopting new, I think cosmetics or fashion or whatever, I'm probably in the laggard, right? I don't even know like what's happening in this space and all that stuff. So it depends on topic to topic, your interest and all together, right? What you see post this is early majority, late majority and laggards. However, there's one like area that you see between early adopters and early majority, and that is called the chasm. Chasm mean a pit wall or whatever it is, right? And if you have to see, right, like the guy said that 95% of things generally get stuck between innovators and early adopters, which mean only few percentage of people generally adopt certain things and it doesn't go beyond that itself, right? And here I'm not talking about everyone in the world. If your product is just for a niche audience, it could be that the percentage of that niche audience is going to adopt that itself, right? And if I have to think about the volunteering that we do, like the urban curated volunteering that we do, right? Like we, like what our understanding is that it's actually stuck at the chasm itself, right? There are very few percentage of people who are actually volunteering, and it is not reaching out to majority, right? Things like we talk a lot, I think someone in morning said that religious groups, right? They attract a lot of people itself, right? So if you see, they have been able to figure out how to break that chasm barrier and go towards the early majority side. And once you crack early majority, it becomes much easier. You are at the top and then you are able to follow more people over there itself, right? Zoom, for example, used to be stuck at innovators and early adopters. But what happened is that COVID came in, the people who were liking early adopters actually pushed towards the like early majority, and then from there things taken, right? So there's some philosophy in how things can move from a thing like early adopter to early majority and all those pieces all together. So I'll let Moumita cover that aspect out here.
Great. So we've understood so we've understood why most ideas get stuck at the chasm. Let's understand the reasons. First things first is not understanding the needs and wants of the people, right? A very good example of who has done it successfully are OTT platforms, right? They measure each and every move you make on their platform. For example, they know which movie are you viewing, how many times. They even edit the movie posters to based on your viewing habits, right? They know what you like and what you don't like, what your preferences are. They know you in and out. So that's one of the reasons. The next reason is not enough social proof. Creating the hype, somebody creating the hype or that FOMO aspect for you, right? A very good example, Shubham mentioned religious gatherings, is the Kumbh Mela this year. It happens 12 years, it happens in 12 years, but if you see so many people, so many endorsements by religious leaders, rallies, being broadcasted over different news channels. So I think religious groups and gatherings do a very good job when it comes to creating that hype, creating the FOMO. One more example is the Stanley Cup for all the Gen Z girlies over there. It's just a water bottle at the end of the day, but they got every influencer on Instagram to talk about it, right? Now what's happening is it's selling out of all the racks. Brands are copying it. People do not just buy into the product, they buy into the community. That is the second aspect. And the third aspect is not giving people a whole experience, right? Again, for example, taking the example of Netflix, when that OG tadam sound that comes, right? It's intentionally engineered to make sure your first interaction starts with, a sound that evokes feelings like intrigue, drama, and couple of more things, right? So it's making sure that the first experience to the last experience, you're able to give them a whole curated experience, right? The next thing is, how do you then move forward from the chasm? These are a couple of things that has worked for some brands. The first is by curating the right kind of experience or the seamless experience for early adopters, right? Early adopters are going to be the people who are going to talk about you to the early majority and then kind of carry the word of mouth spreads, the referral spreads. The second thing could be timing or the environment. Shubham gave an example of Zoom, right? When COVID struck, Zoom kind of came in, and from early adopters, in a very fast manner, it shifted to early majority, right? Tesla did it by changing the narratives about EV cars, making it more luxurious, making it seem more luxurious. And the last thing is definitely to understand at the end of the day what your early majority wants. What are their needs? What are their preferences? What are their interests? Know them in and out. Sorry, I keep going back. So volunteering, as covered earlier, and especially urban curated, is currently stuck at the chasm. How do we move past it, right? So before I answer that question, I want an answer from you guys. What is one of the key aspects that's common between all of these three brands? I know everybody consumes this every single day. So any answers? This surprise quiz was not there, but yeah, please go ahead. It's free. Not necessarily there are subscription. Algorithm, okay. Entertainment, okay. Anything else? Yes, yes. Personalization, correct. What you consume. So personalization is the correct answer. Basically curating the right experience by understanding who your customers are, people who are kind of consuming your content or consuming your product or service or idea, right? Now, for a very good example, we all used to watch TV, but if you throw a little bit of personalization along with it, if you throw a little bit of async consumption, basically you can access any sort of content at any point of time, and you bring it all together, it gives you Netflix, which is far more scalable as compared to your regular TV. You don't have to wait for your favorite movie to stream on Setmax. You can access it anytime, any moment you want, right? So how do you create personalized volunteering experiences? Let's take Shubham, for example. In the intro, Neha mentioned he has been a strategy consultant. He loves coming up with new ideas and innovations, especially anything that has to do with AI, and loves nature and the great outdoors, right? So if you see, there are two options that I'm going to give Shubham. Set one, which has two options: create a social media campaign for Rakhi for asking for donations. And the second is go to an animal shelter and help them with operations for a sterilization project. The next set is help a nonprofit come up with ideas on how they can leverage AI in their operations. And the second is help a nature conservation NGO figure out how they can reduce trekking waste. So I think Shubham, as much as I know him, will definitely go with the second option, right? This is how you curate, this is how you track what that each person likes and kind of come up and give them the options for volunteering accordingly. These, the set one volunteering options are good volunteering options, right? But it does not relate with Shubham. So you need to make it relatable for that particular volunteer. Next, I think one more example is when you're sharing even what volunteering opportunities you've got, don't just say that, hey, explore this these skill volunteering opportunities. Give them exactly what they would like. For example, Amazon did it like, hey, Priya, based on your recent activity, we thought you might be interested in this, right? Hey, Shubham, based on your profile and interest, this is the volunteering activity we thought you could do. So give them exact options. A very good example is all the small Udupi restaurants across Bangalore, right? They have 100 different things on their menu. They give North Indian, they give South Indian, they give Indo-Chinese. Every single time I look at their menu options, I'm confused. I don't know what to get. I sit there 15 minutes trying to figure out what to get. But when you go to a high-end restaurant, right, the entire experience is well curated for you. You don't have to go and, you just have to go and sit and enjoy the entire experience. And that's what we have to do with volunteering.
One second. Just to add, right, can you go back? In the previous one, even if I had AI, let's suppose in the last option, I would probably not even check because the first option that I'm seeing itself is probably something that is not of my interest. So unless I am very much dedicated into it, which probably is an innovator or a early adopter, I might not even go till the end and then find the thing which is relevant for me, right? And that is where, like, just share, volunteering is. We might have a lot of opportunities which might click with different people, but what happens is that those opportunities are overwhelmed with a lot of different kind of opportunities, right? And they see, for example, for some reason, I'm not able to connect with animals in general, right? Like animal, somebody took me to an event and I couldn't relate, like, why are we even doing it, right? Now, if somebody comes to me and gives me that kind of opportunity a couple of times, I might not even like it. And then I stop looking over volunteering opportunities altogether. So that is what the difference between these two is. So, yeah.
Great. Moving on to what are basically the things you need to consider to get out of the chasm. There are 4 things. First is, as I covered, personalize at an individual level. Know each of your volunteers, especially with the tech and AI, it's very easy to capture data, to figure out how to capture those data and personalize at an individual level. Second is give them a great experience, right? Third is make it async. Not everybody has to volunteer the same way at the same time. Last piece is make it social and make it shareable. Like, get them to be a part of the community. Let them share it with their network, with their bosses, with their friends, with their colleagues, right? Moving on, I think we've just covered personalization at an individual level. Second is giving them a great experience. How do you give them a good experience? Yes. I think at the end of the day, the volunteer engagement should give a good experience. You can personalize it, you can make it shareable, you can make it more async, but at the end of the day, it's all about the engagement itself. So design each touch point with the volunteers, right? Right from onboarding to talking to them, to then getting them on board for the activity, then even the feedback and testimonial collection, everything needs to be designed intentionally. For example, Matt does this when they're onboarding people to break the ice. They make them play some sort of game, right? It's, I think, Stappu or something. Yeah. So this is how you kind of curate every touch point with your particular volunteer, and that is the reason why organizations like MAD and you and I have great retention rate and great engagement rate itself, right? Second piece is, see if you can gamify their experience or share impact outcomes, right? This is to engage them, this is to motivate them. At WeDoGood, we share how much an NGO has been able to save in terms of cost savings when you volunteer, right? So per project, it's about 1.2 lakh each volunteer saves. So see if you can gamify their experiences, show them concrete outcomes, right? Next is try and introduce a community angle. For in our case, every project has different levels of volunteers. So we have one volunteer mentor, we have one engagement lead that leads the entire project. We've got volunteer consultants who are consulting with the NGO and figuring out the problem. And then we've got volunteer associates, volunteer fellows who are doing some of the grunt work, right? So if you see, we've created different levels in a project itself that kind of ensures that you're able to talk to similar like-minded people and then kind of engage with them. So these are the 3 ways that you can ensure that volunteers are having a great experience. Apart from that, I think the major thing that you also have to do is build credibility. A lot of NGOs that we work with, out of our 120 NGO partners, I think a lot of them have mentioned that volunteers don't stick, right? Or even sometimes volunteers, they don't get enough volunteer signups. When we go and ask volunteers, they don't know whether that NGO is credible, right? They don't know what that NGO is working about. They don't know anything about the founder. They don't know anything about the piece. So we've got a few points on how to build credibility, which is talk as much details about the opportunity as possible, share details of the beneficiary in detail, right? And share reviews, past experiences. This helps build social proof and trust. Let's take Airbnb for an example, right? So each listing of theirs talks in detail about what this place offers. They have good photos that people can base on their decision with. So this helps in easy decision making. Detailed host profiles, right? So each host talks about like who are they as a person, what do they do. They have got reviews, they've got references, whether they are verified or not. Then we've got detailed reviews and ratings. For each listing, they make sure that there are ratings available, there are reviews available. This ensures that it builds credibility. And this is the same thing we have to do in terms of listing volunteering opportunities, making sure that you're making the other person feel that there's some credible organization that they're going to volunteer with. So I think that's pretty much it from my end. Let's go to the next remaining 2 areas that Shubham's going to cover here.
Sure. So people who came for skilled volunteering in AI, this is the time. This was just us setting the base so that you understand like how are we thinking of scaling things and all that, right? Like so I think personalization is very much important. Understanding who the people are and all that can happen, right? And if you think personalization will come from collecting data. Data points come from which all activities they have signed up for, how much they are sticking, what is happening and all, right? And that's where platforms can really enable such kind of a setting. Great experiences very much. I think the sector knows it quite well, right? Like the top NGOs have been doing it very well, right? Like people who like the cause and who want to stay, they have been sticking for long. I've seen, for example, my journey with Make a Difference, with themselves was associated as a volunteer for 4 years. In fact, I took the leap of joining social sector full-time and starting an organization. So I think not-for-profit sector has been doing these 2 things quite well. The third is make it async, right? and the fourth is make it social and shareable. So I'll basically cover these 2 points going forward. So my first question is, how do you make things scalable, right? Before I go into async, how do you make things scalable? Any answers? Right. I think you guys are right? So leveraging tech platforms all together, right? Like, so everything, if you say Netflix, others, whatever it is, they use tech so that they can reach out to more and more people. They can personalize stuff and all that stuff, right? But I think Gauri took a session just before, right? Like, so they are using a tech platform called Tata Engage. They are doing very large scale volunteering, right? The numbers are definitely great and all. But if you think from a company like Tata, and even she was speaking, they only do skilled volunteering only 2 times a year, right? How do we ensure that it can happen whenever I want to volunteer? This was a thing with MasterCard, right? MasterCard used to conduct event in some of the phases, and the sector I was in, that phase was very critical, right? I would never get time. I would probably be working around 12 hours per day. I was in consulting. That's the job itself, right? And I would hardly get time to volunteer over there, right? And if you think of Tata Group, like where they have more than 100 plus companies, can you ensure that the volunteers who are coming in will have the same time and effort across all the companies altogether, right? So you can't do it that way where like you're just organizing it at one point of time. Now, why do they do it only 2 times a year, right? Okay, before that, right? So here, my question very much like that we think is that are we really thinking about the volunteers when we are creating these platforms, right? We have platforms like Goodera, for example, who creates it for like volunteer managers, I think, sorry, corporates and all. There are many other platforms outside India as well. They're actually solving for volunteer managers, which is more about providing the opportunity to the team when it is needed. They can put it over there and it can reach out, but they are actually not solving for volunteers, which is making sure that the personalized opportunity that they have, something that they are looking for reaches out to them, right? And even not-for-profits can play a role into it. I'll come to it later. But that is where we need to think about, like when we are thinking of platforms, are we just targeting the people who have power, decision-making power and money, or are we trying to create a whole balanced experience altogether, okay? And we need to go an extra mile to solve for both managers and volunteers. So in order to do this, we need to make opportunities async. It can't be that in a company like MasterCard, I'm just coming up with education-related initiatives. If I don't like education, I don't like teaching, I probably won't be volunteering altogether itself, right? And so what does async mean actually, right? When we say async, what does async mean? So let me go into that. So these are some photos that we just found when we searched volunteering, right? And these are, this is the story for page 1, page 2, page 3, when I went till page 5 or 6. All the volunteering that you see is 5 people, 6 people, 10 people, 15 people coming together and then attending an event all in general, right? And that is how volunteering have been in past as well. What this has done is that we have always thought about that if we have to do volunteering, it has to be in group. If you think of skilled volunteering, right, like it is 1 person, 2 person. If you think of mentoring as well, right, Mentor Together does it or many others, it's 1 person itself, right? Think of teaching, for example, Mad and you and I, whatever they do, why only hire once a year? Or like there could be different phases as well and there as well. But we are actually stuck in a mindset of how can we only do it at group basis? How can we launch that, okay, we are doing 100 skilled volunteering projects right now. How do we do that? Okay, we crack a partnership with Amazon and then I'm getting 1,000 plus volunteers for my mentoring program, but I don't have the people or youth ready for that, right? So that is where we need to think about making it async. There have been a lot of challenges in past of making anything async, right? First was there's a lot of human intervention required. If the right tech is not there, you need a lot of human intervention. For example, for skilled volunteering, right? Even we try to do it in little bit batches. We try to start 6, 7 projects every 2 weeks like together, right? The reason is because a lot of human intervention is required. If a person has to induct a volunteer and sit with them and tell what they need to do, And if they have to do it 100 people, they can't be doing one by one, right? If Moumita is a volunteer, I can't be 1 hour I spend with her, then with Neha, then with someone else, right? So whenever a lot of human intervention is required, that's where async doesn't work, okay? The second, wherever human intervention is required is in mobilization, is in curation, and is in management, right? Like, so you need to mobilize people, get people on board. You need to curate certain experiences for them, right? For skilled volunteering, it is identifying what project they need to do. For event-based volunteering, it is more about what's the activity that they are going to do itself, right? So curation is the second, and third is end-to-end management itself, right? And it needs the right tech with lot of customization. So a lot of volunteering platforms are there. I was talking to Venkat and this guy, this Sai in EIV who creates VMS for others, right? If you try to create a platform end-to-end, there's a lot of customizations required. Every NGO has different levels, they have different structures. You're not able to get into it and then figure it out, right? And that's where async has been challenging for sure. Sorry, doing async has been challenging for sure, right? But we think at least for skilled volunteering, which involves long-term volunteering as well as skilled mentoring, it can be done easily. We have few thesis on that it can be done easily for even event-based volunteering as well. That will not cover, but if anyone is interested, we can talk about it as well. So it is possible, right? And the answer is actually AI, right? And that's where we come to the whole AI part on how AI can disrupt things. I think Morning Venkat says that AI can take some of these jobs, and we are seeing it directly in WeDoGood. We have project SPOCs who are dedicated to manage more projects. By leveraging AI, we are able to bring down the number of resources required per person to manage all these projects altogether. Probably not good for these people who will come in, but great for taking volunteering at scale itself, right? So, yeah. So just sharing why it is possible, why AI can solve the async nature of skilled mentoring and skilled volunteering. So first of all, there is less number of people needed for any project or experience. Generally 2 people, 3 people, whatever it is needed for one experience. In mentoring, it is mostly just one person itself, right? So it doesn't have to kickstart at the same time. For example, if it is a whole year of engagement, the classes of every student starts from April and ends in March, right? You can't do anything that, okay, I'll teach grade 6 from December to next November. They'll not be in grade 6, they'll be in a different grade altogether. So it doesn't have to kickstart at the same time because these are different experiences. And third is there is various domains that ensure that there is something for most people, right? We all are here experts in something or the other. And skilled mentoring or volunteering enables that piece that there is something for each one of us where we'll be able to find it and all, which comes from the personalization angle altogether, right? So let's see some places on how we are using it. We are not there at all, right? Like we are just trying to touch the levels, but we feel we can automate a lot of levels and then take it to the scale where skilled volunteering especially can be. Right. So this is the first thing. In our need, what we have to do is we have to understand who the NGO is, what their need is, and all that stuff, right? We have already been able to create a chatbot. It's a WeDoGood WhatsApp chatbot number. Though we have not tested it out directly, we still have calls with NGOs because we are trying to fine-tune a certain foundation model to adapt to our settings. Some fancy words, no need to go into that front. But if you see what's happening is there's this guy, Yunus from ABC Foundation. He needs to figure out email marketing, right? And he don't know, he wants to figure out how to set up, reach out to donors accordingly and all, right? The chatbot itself, if you see what's the time difference, 1 minute, says, okay, let's start with basics. What specific goal do you have in mind to understand it? Do you have any current email marketing efforts or platforms that you have tried using it or whatever? He gives answer that, okay, my focus is to retain donors. We want to send regular emails to provide updates and track who opened it, right? One of the very common thing which most of the not-for-profits want to do. Also, we have tried MailChimp, but it didn't work that much for me. I didn't get it, whatever it is, right? So it says, okay, thanks for the details, Yunus. I'm not, this is all AI created. We use a model of OpenAI to kind of get there. What type of content do you plan to include in these regular updates to donors? So it's trying to understand it, right? So whether there are certain concerns, whether the email marketing needs to be async in that. Can you share why MailChimp didn't work so that they can understand whether it's a tech problem or whether it's a marketing understanding problem, right? When you are doing email marketing, there could be things like I'm not able to figure out MailChimp, or my strategy is only not there, right? I don't know what to do. And the volunteers which are required for these are very different in nature. So the AI is trying to figure out like how to go about this and all. So we are trying to leverage AI to understand some bit of it. We still don't want to remove human intervention because we still feel that there's a lot of gap, but this decreases the cost or whatever it is that's required over there, right? We have something called as automatic matchmaking, right? Like, so we have already built this. This is the dashboard of how things look like. This is again on a AI-based thing. What happens is you put project description, and it can be fetched directly from the curated things that we have. You put required skills. So whenever we curate a project, we put like whatever type of skills are required. And then you also put whatever volunteer profile is required. So we generally say we have ranked volunteers as associate, consultant, engagement lead, and mentor. So we have 4 levels in our level itself, depending on their experience and all. We put all of these, it runs it, it fetches all the volunteers who have registered with us. And when they have registered in the onboarding, we have tried getting their LinkedIn accounts. We have tried asking few questions where we fetch their most of the interest all together, and it runs it. We have a thing called bulk run. So for example, we got a corporate partner. We tried testing it out with them, though we were not able to get as much detail as we were able to get in individual partners, but we are still testing it out on how to do it better on corporate things. There's API based, so we can, once we have the project curation ready, we can just link it with APIs, and then what will happen is project gets curated, it does it automatically, finds the volunteer automatically. No human required in between altogether, right? And this is happening because AI is now able to understand when someone is writing on LinkedIn, what does that mean? Or when somebody has a resume, what does that mean and all that, right? And there could be things like how on Airbnb she mentioned rating and all. So if they've done multiple projects, you can capture their rating, figure out how well they are doing and all that. The third thing, I think, which everyone has been talking about, like whenever I say that things can't be scaled with this, is project management, right? Which is all about that, okay, can skilled volunteering projects have a lot of dropout, NGOs don't know what to ask for volunteers and they are not on same page and all that stuff, right? This is something that we have been using for almost like, I think 9-10 months or even more, right? This is just a note taker tool very similar to you guys use. There's Read, Fireflies, hundreds of other Otter and stuff. We use something called a Sibyl. You guys can check it out if you want. One other thing apart from others is that it also understands non-verbal cues. So it gives us motivation score. So if I'm talking straight and I'm watching this, it gives me a high motivation score. But if I'm lying back, probably not interested, looking over somewhere else, probably looking over phone, it tells that, okay, I'm less motivated altogether, right? And we have tested if I'm like this or this and all that, it gives different motivation scores altogether itself. It gives a summary of what it is. This is a dashboard. It captures all the meeting, whatever has happened. So this is a call. None of our team members join. It is with some Grameen first, right? Like we are doing some project for them. And then Prakhar, or I don't know. So I think Thaiza is the NGO POC. Tom and Prakhar are there. It talks about who spoke more. So Prakhar spoke most, Tom spoke less, what were the next steps and all that, right? Now, if our team has to figure it out, which we are doing right now manually, they can just go to the summary thing, right? They can say whatever they want. In crisp 3 points, share the outcomes and the direction of the meeting. What all happened? And if you see, it's generating a response because it has recorded, it has transcribed, it has figured it out. And by the way, this tool supports somewhere around 180 languages and cover most of the languages that we have. There are hundreds of other tools which kind of cover everything. So when we are doing partnership calls, it understands Marathi, Telugu, whatever it is, right? Like, so every language altogether. And it gives us that, okay, what were the key outcomes, directions, and everything, right? What we can do later, we are working on it, is just link this automatically. Every time a meeting happens, track like whether it has gone to stage A or stage B or stage C. We'll know whether a project is going in the right direction or not. If we have the milestones defined, we'll know that, okay, whether they have crossed milestone A or not, milestone B or not, and all that. Here, we still check, but if you see, it tells the engagement score, right? Prakhar was out without video, so we couldn't get the engagement score because he didn't have his video on. But here it talks about motivation score in 1 to 5 or whatever, and we can keep track of it. So if the motivation score is 3, like it is consistent 3, and it decreased to 2 or 1, then we know that, okay, this volunteer is probably fading out, then there's chance of dropout. And then we can send a human to talk to them, figure out whatever it is, right? We can ask the NGO to maybe share that, okay, you guys are doing great, this is really helping, let's continue with this, right? So a lot of things which is monitoring, where you might need to send someone to call to figure out whatever it is, can be done a lot with there. So this is what we have been using. What we are trying to create is an end-to-end platform where things can be managed with very less effort altogether itself. It needs a lot of fine-tuning. So let's look at the new future. We didn't have budget to create a video, so we thought let's do a role play itself. So I'll invite Yunus from my team. He'll probably use the same example that we shared. It will be a 1 or 2 minute role play itself, just sharing what the future is going to look like. And mind, we are not theater people and all that all together. So in case it looks weird, it's like it is just for illustration purpose altogether.
Hello.
So just for context, Yunus is a NGO representative. He is some from ABC Foundation, right? Like, so Yunus is from ABC Foundation. We have Moumita, who will act as a volunteer, and I am basically the WeDoGood AI bot or the platform, whatever it is, right? Like, so I'm not a human, I am a bot, and I'll figure out like what is happening all together. Moumita, maybe you can come this side. And yes, Yunus.
He's not a human. I'm not a good actor also, so bear with me. Okay, so let's start. Okay. Hello, my name is Yunus from ABC Foundation. Imagine this is the laptop. Yeah, let's start.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh damn, I can't figure out this email thing. I have to send 200 emails to my donors that we have. I don't know what to do. The manager assigned it to me. I don't know whether I should use Excel sheet to send it. I don't know what to do here. And my manager is missing. It has to go today. We had a system set up. I don't know what to do at all right now. Let me just see what I can do, Google some solutions there.
Okay, so Yunus comes to our bot itself and then it asks.
Yes, I need to send an email marketing thread to 200 people for like donors for like a report of what we've done. So how do I do it?
AI generates the response. Why do you want it? Like, what are the details and all that?
It's a weekly newsletter which has to go, but we don't know how, we don't have a system currently. We set it in our calendar that we sent for 200 people. We didn't decide how to send.
Okay, so it looks like you need a marketing person. In general, we do a lot detailed scoping, but for this, we are keeping it just a half a minute and all. Let me run through my matchmaking algorithm and figure out, right? I already have thousands of people registered. Oh, it looks like there's this volunteer called Moumita. She looks like an expert in marketing, right? Let me try sending a notification to her and whether she's interested to like support Yunus. So notification sent.
Great. Sounds like I've got a notification, and it says ABC Foundation needs help, and Yunus is the one requesting it. I think I like their cause, which is women health. And apart from that, I think it only takes me about like what 2 to 3 hours per week, so it should be good. And I think sounds good. I also have 4 hours to accept, so I'll probably accept it now. And yeah, we can.
Sure. So if you see what's happening is, the volunteer is not deciding when the mobilizing is happening. They are getting like a Uber-like notification. So when you book a ride, your driver gets a request, the nearest person, that, okay, do you want to take this ride? The person needs to go to HSR, right? So similarly, Moumita is getting a request on her WhatsApp or an email saying that, okay, there is this volunteering opportunity with Yunus, and we can personalize it. We can share as much details of Yunus we want. We can share details about ABC Foundation so that she can make a lead. And she knows that, okay, she needs to give 3 hours, 6 hours, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and then accept. She'll have 4 hours to accept it. If not, then it goes to the next volunteer altogether, right? So direct matchmaking, you are not getting the checkbox or consent from them upfront, right? So, okay, looks like Moumita has accepted it. Let me matchmake. So I'm sending a notification for them to join a common WhatsApp chat group where these two can interact, right? Like, so over to you guys.
Yes. Hello, Moumita. Yes. Can you help me with this email marketing thing? I don't know how to figure this out.
Sounds good, Yunus. I think you just need a email marketing tool. MailChimp has a lot of free email budget, so I think we'll be able to use it and then kind of leverage it for running a quarterly newsletter for your donors.
Yes. Can you help set it up for me?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
So this is one typical call that happened, a very short version. I, as a bot, if you saw, I was just seeing these two guys, right? So I noted the motivation score of Moumita. In the next meeting, if the motivation score is down, I call someone else. If Harpreet is a POC, I call her or send a message that, okay, this engagement is not working well. Probably the volunteer is about to drop off, and then why don't you talk to them and figure it out? Harpreet talks it, gets it done, whatever, right? Role play over, we can end it. But if you see, yeah, okay. Yeah. But if you see, I think what Gauri mentioned in last one, whoever was here, she mentioned that when NGOs send it, it takes 1 to 2 months to figure it out whether they even have a volunteer or not, right? Their requests have changed, figure things out, right? With this, even if we include a person to scope out a project, which can be like a person reading through AI and then calling and figuring it out, it can still be done in half a day, 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is, right? It goes to Moumita. Moumita is already pre-registered. She doesn't have to come to my platform every day and see that, okay, I have 10,000s of opportunity. I filter it there, I reach out and I sort it out, right? She selects whatever her medium is, email, Slack, WhatsApp, whatever it is, we can send it over there. Corporate integration is there, we can send it on Teams, Slack, whatever it is, right? She gets the message, she has time to accept it. She accepts it, which means she's giving consent then and there to kind of do the engagement. So that motivation is right there, right? It is not 2 weeks back, 1 month back, whatever it is, right? And then the engagement can happen all together, right? Now, if you see the motivation is at both the sides because the NGO has requested, Moumita has accepted then and there. The level of engagement will be a lot higher, dropouts rate will be a lot lower, and it can create a massive level of things, right? It can reach out to skill mentoring altogether, where youth or even others can actually use such kind of platform and get support whatever is needed, right? You can think of quick commerce for mentoring or support in general itself, right? Where is that? So that is basically what some bit of future looks like in AI. We have some concepts on generic volunteering. We don't work on that lines. So we are not focusing on that. We are focusing on skill-based volunteering. But this is what we are envisioning at WeDoGood, right? Like, so we all need to do some sales or fundraising. So a couple of slides on that front. Right, like, so we are building a platform that enables NGOs, volunteer managers as well to kind of support it, right? So platform for NGOs to post opportunities, both skilled, and we are also thinking that this is a place where they can put hosting a volunteering opportunity all together, right? Like, so that is there. Now, since if we have integrated it with a corporate data list will be there. If it is individual, people who have registered on our website will be there. A platform, what happens, it reaches out to the platform for volunteers and volunteer managers. So there will be a platform for volunteers and volunteer managers to look over the opportunities and curate, get direct notification, whether they want to accept it or not. And the conversation can still happen async on WhatsApp. You don't have to do it. You can still create a group directly via the system itself where these two parties are there, right? And a platform for CSR managers to track outcomes, impact of their volunteering program all together itself. What are some of the features? So first, the platform will automatically analyze volunteer profiles. We've already been testing it out on GPTers for a good amount of time now. I think we are at a stage 70% where we are still able to understand the motivation and the skill set based on LinkedIn and responses. We still need to fine tune, but in some time we'll be there. The second is a platform that adopts an Uber-like approach to reach out to volunteers, right? Like, so it doesn't have to be async a month before or whatever, or my manager or a volunteer manager is sending hundreds of emails, join this, join this, join this, right? And think of this in generic volunteering, like if people are looking to do it, it can also happen. Right now, how generic volunteering happens is my volunteer manager or a champion in some organizations, they say it, they push people to join that event. Now it can happen is that if I like education and if I have expressed interest, only the education curated events are there, and then activity can happen across teams. So I am from consulting team, she's from, let's suppose, marketing team, someone is from tech team. All the education interested people can come together and do a generic event, right? And that is the power of personalization altogether. And the third thing which we really want, and which I shared, it should be social and shareable, right? And I think this aspect people miss a lot. So it should be a place where you see an opportunity, you can share that opportunity directly with people. So just a pop-up window where you say, I want to share it. If it is in a corporate, you can find that person's email, send a notification, and I want to do this event with my friend. I want to do this mentoring with Moumita. So I add Moumita into that. She gets a request saying, Shubham has requested to work on this project together, or Shubham has requested to go for this generic volunteering event together, right? And she can accept it. So now I can still go as a friend, but it's still async because it's not that everyone in the group is coming together. People who like education only gets the notification and do it, and they can invite their friends over for that, right? Like, so that is all that we are building as a platform, right? Like, it's still in some development phase. And this is our new branding thing as well. The website will look old, but yeah, so that is all the session that we had. Yeah. Cool, thank you.
Nikita, can you please put up, everyone, can we please request you to scan the code, post any questions that you may have. We would request you all to please post your questions. We want to make sure that these questions are added to our repository, which we can use for future sessions. So kindly post your questions. The link is correct. You want to be here? Any questions? Future of AI volunteering. Skilled volunteering is AI volunteering.
Not exact, but okay, no.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. Yeah.
What are WeDoGood's targets for the next 5 years in terms of countries and in terms of people to be touched, different stakeholders to be touched?
Sure, right. Like, so right now we are developing this platform because I think we understand NGOs and small businesses well. So we are first planning to start with these beneficiaries. We do see a potential of such platform being able to go to youth and others, right? And we are not thinking of developing our own platform. This can be a solution like this with AI matchmaking and all that can be created as a DPG altogether, which can be integrated to if any of your mentoring platforms are there or if your volunteering platforms are there, because this is more of like curation and matchmaking, right? So if you're capturing the data well, that can be integrated. So we are still thinking on how to expand to other beneficiaries altogether. But personally, we are thinking more on NGOs and small businesses for now and understand how it works well. We are actually planning to like go outside of India as well because we see a huge potential. Skill volunteering is still a baby in India, right? Like very few organizations do it. And if we have to scale, if we have to sustain and whatever, we have to go outside India. So our plans are going outside India as well, right? Like, so some work is going on that.
Are you planning on hiring AI volunteers for doing this work?
Yes, we get a lot of AI-based projects, right? Like, in fact, there have been a couple of very nice projects that we have gotten on the lines of, there's a marine, like a shark, so, on shark conservation, right? How do you adopt a shark and figure out their things and all that as well? There have been a couple of others in general. So we have gotten very nice projects from very different projects. Though they are regular projects like, can I create a chatbot for menstrual hygiene? And it answers most of the question that is there and some of the other aspects altogether. So we always get volunteers. It's a Google form, you can fill it. And then we internally are also looking for AI people to support us with these in general as well. Yeah.
Shubham, we have a few questions here.
Sure.
Yeah, so first question is, where can we see a demo of what you spoke about? Is this a concept? So if you have a demo, maybe you can connect after with this session and you can actually give a demo
Sure,
to
so
everyone.
whoever asked, you can reach out. We have demos of each small component. We are trying to build a platform which integrates all of these together. The platform development is already in process. Will AI reduce the needs for skill-based volunteers? What do you mean by reduce the needs? I think it will just lower the barrier. Go ahead, Karthi. I think you asked. Just go ahead. Na?
So I was just asking because AI is there. For example, either I might need a developer to build something, or I might go for a skill-based volunteer. Now I can probably use a Cloud AI or something to do it, right? So do you see this is going to create more requirements or going to reduce it?
Yeah, in fact, when we were thinking it, we were thinking, can we solve some of the problems directly with AI, and we don't even need to go to a volunteer as well, right? So I don't think I have an answer. I'm not an expert. I'm just I can say a good user of AI, right? If anything new comes in, I'll test it out and figure it out how it works. I still feel that human connect is important, right? Like, so if you see right now, there are a lot of things where you can create a website, but AI is still not there to understand the brand guidelines, things like how you want it, structure it, and all that there, right? So there's still some human required who knows to run that bit and then take it forward. But it could be either ways, Karthi, right? Like, so we'll have to see how this pans out. But I see at least the barrier going below, and then there could be huge opportunities coming all together.
I think
Karthi, can I add to?
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Because I'm seeing, some AI tools like which with one prompt create a website. For example, it removes the developer out of it, but still a copywriter or what pages should be put, strategically thinking, those roles might go up. So I think skill-based volunteering might require, but probably there could be a shift that might happen for some of the roles.
So,
I don't know whether
yeah.
study has been made on that, but
Right.
for few certain roles, probably for example graphic design or image generation. Earlier we used to get photo shoots for people. Now some of the posters you can make it via AI. But I think there's an interesting trend that's getting changed.
Right. Yep.
So I'll just give a couple of examples we are experimenting with. So Lovable is a great tool to build good-looking apps. And we really see that the need of a developer is now reducing. And what has happened is that for prototyping tools, for smaller use cases, they do a wonderful job. So it is likely that many nonprofits whose use case is not to scale, where no complex logics are to be written, you don't need an app developer today. Internal tools is very easy, right? But wherever the networks are required, wherever you need to have complex logics, so that's one. The other thing I have seen, so there's a company called Youth Impact. They're recently launching now in Karnataka, in India for the first time. What they're the model has been globally that the volunteers will mentor kids in FLN. It's a very standard use case, right? Now the experiment that we did with them is that while the mentorship will happen through volunteers, can the last end-line assessment be done through an audio bot? Which means that now a Kannada-speaking bot is going to call the child and ask 5 questions, simple questions like you have 5 apples, 3 you ate, how much do you have left? And believe me, the student does not know today, and it's a reality of today, that it is a bot talking to the person. So if you ask a question on the question, the bot will engage with you, right, in a dialect which you are speaking in. Now the next model that they are doing is that the tutoring itself could then be moved to a bot. So I think that today the human connect is very important. I absolutely agree. But in the longer run, it is possible that the lines will blur further.
Yep.
And some simple tasks which may not require complex relationships, maybe even that in future, but today they are not required.
Sure. Thanks, Satyam. I think in interest of time, we'll take it. But I agree, right? Like, so a lot of these things are already there. How do you ensure data security and privacy, especially when working with corporate volunteers? So as I mentioned, if you saw, like we are creating 3 platforms. Like the idea is not to integrate a NGO instance and a volunteer instance. What can happen is that these 2 are separate platforms. In fact, if a corporate wants this platform to sit in their side, it can sit there and can just connect with APIs to ensure that the data is not breached and all that together, right? Like, so there have been lot of, I think underlying studies, a lot of tools which manage corporate data. So it's not a new thing. And there are best practices on that front. Like I'm not a techie, we have hired a tech person, but we are maintaining those things all together.
I think we can take the next question, which is what happens if there are similar volunteer skill profiles? Does everyone gets notification for that particular project, right? So it will first, if there are, let's suppose 5 people, the AI will analyze all the 5 profiles and then rank on the basis of who is more competent on the basis of their past experiences, their past projects and everything. And then let's suppose it goes to rank 1. Rank 1 is Shubham. And Shubham, for whatever reason, declines. It goes to the second rank volunteer who has that same kind of experience and then kind of takes it forward like that.
Sure. And just to add, if you're looking for a job, you're looking for a person who can do it. You're not trying to find the perfect match in the world who can do it, right? So even if it has 5 people, just select a random 1 person and rank it 1, right? At the end, it's all about whether the job is getting done and not which one is the best or which one is the second best altogether. Do you think we can use AI to verify skills of volunteers basis the problems they have solved for NGOs, and the means of verification can help corporates in hiring these volunteers? For sure. In fact, like when we are now positioning our services for corporates, we say skilled volunteering can be leveraged in multiple other areas, right? Like which is on the lines of talent acquisition in form of like interns and all those can work with projects. We get certain data and then we figure it out. The second being is we are also trying to leverage in L&D. Right now, we have not tested it out that without a project experience, we can guarantee it. And that is not our problem to solve. But I think we are trying to go at a space where if they do a project or if they do multiple volunteering projects and the profile that they have, we should be able to get at a good level on whether they have the skills or not. And can AI unintentionally create new barriers in volunteering, like tech literacy? How can we ensure inclusivity altogether? I think AI is going to be the one which actually removes the barrier, right? Like, so if you see, AI is actually at that innovator stage, right? In fact, if you follow Microsoft's founder, he's saying, I'm not competing with the likes of OpenAI or Google and all that. What he's trying to do is take away the coding aspect and make it as subtle to use for a normal human being. So Microsoft is focusing a lot on business use case. Right now, there's a lot of factors on the tech side of it, but slowly when it becomes more, and it will be very soon, right? It is not going to be that far, where a common person will be able to leverage all of these things itself, right? Like, so I don't think it's going to increase the barrier. In fact, it is going to decrease the barrier.
I think a very good example is of, let's suppose when you utilize AI, you can easily, if the person is not comfortable with writing it in English, they can just speak their problem and then it can just analyze based on intelligence processing what that person is saying and then kind of based on that ask relevant questions and then kind of figure it out. So I think that's...
We have, I think, 2 more questions. We'll take one more. With reference to the role play, can AI not replace skilled volunteers completely, right? So I think, which Karthi also mentioned, it is possible. How I see is that there are 2 aspects of any volunteering in general. One is developing a basic tool. So somebody said developing a donor management tool, right? I think that AI will probably be able to do, right? Like if they have data on what all donor management tools are. But if you have to look over strategy or how should I customize a certain piece for myself, that will still be hard, and that's where you'll need human to figure it out. I don't know when AGI will come. AGI is artificial general intelligence. If that comes, that might happen, that we don't even need humans, everything AI does, right? But till the time it is not there, and till the time the current form of AI is or how it is moving, I still feel skilled volunteers is what is going to be required. I think that is all.
One
Yeah.
question is repeating on the data science.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much, Shubham and Moumita. We have the quiz, not the quiz, the feedback before the quiz. Can you all please give the feedback? Okay, we have the Mentimeter quiz now coming up. We'd request you all to please open the Chrome or or just scan the, is there a scanner? Is there a code? If you can just open Mentimeter and use the code 83785132. 83785132. Ready?
Only 2 people.
Oh, there are only 2 people who are ready. 4.
You will have to put it.
Just open the Mentimeter on the Chrome window. On an internet browser, you can just open Mentimeter, and you can use code 83785132